If you placed an order from a shop advertising on Facebook, odds are good that you were scammed. If you finally got anything from the shop, it took forever to get and was a shoddy knockoff of the original. I have to admit that I fell for it too. After buying online for almost 2 decades, I finally got scammed. It made me wonder how I was so easily fooled and how I could keep others from falling for the same thing. So why did I click on the ad? Well, the product was appealing, and I'd been seeing the same ad for almost 2 months prior to clicking on it. And it was on Facebook. It wasn't like I had got a spam email and clicked it, or I clicked on a seller from a Google search. This ad had been appearing in my Facebook and Instagram feed for weeks. What I hadn't realized until after placing the order was that the product was appearing in several different shops. I wasn't really paying attention during the weeks the ads were appearing to the names of the shops and that they were all different. So one day I clicked on the ad. I looked around the website for a bit just to see if anything was suspicious, and it looked okay. Just like the dozens of websites I'd placed orders with in the past, I made sure the item was available, when I could expect it to be shipped, how long it would take. Weeks passed without even a shipping confirmation. It was still in processing for like weeks. Now I've ordered stuff from China, and this isn't that unusual. It can take weeks to get stuff shipped in and then out to customers before the seller tells you it's shipped. This was in my mind, and I finally called or emailed customer service and basically like, what's up? Well, the reply was lame as F. It seemed like it was just like a form letter that they send out to anybody who complains because they know they're not going to ship their stuff out to you. And that finally triggered my scam alert. I knew at this point I wasn't getting my order, and I hoped that maybe I could get a refund. So I waited a week, as the reply from the customer service suggested, and there was no change in my order. Meanwhile, I looked into the whole process of me seeing the ads and placing an order to figure out what happened. How did I get scammed? Well, this led to a not-so-surprising discovery and a not-so-surprising question. Is Facebook making money off of scam advertisers? Well, obviously they are, but how much, right? Is this just a little thing that's going on, or is this pretty much pervasive throughout the entire platform and is pretty much the base of all user experience on Facebook, is that they're going to be saturated by scammers? Take my word for it, since I can't really show you without a lot of blurring and editing, which kind of undermines the evidence. My Facebook feed was a couple pages of posts and then ads for clothes, a couple more pages of posts and then ads for clothes, so on and so forth. So maybe in an average episode of checking my Facebook news, I'd see a half dozen or more ads for the same kind of clothes. I don't buy clothes online because I like to try things on first, so the ads appearing on my Facebook news are kind of inexplicable, but anyway, there they are. And so first I looked deeper into every instance of this product and the advertiser, and I made some interesting finds. Some were kind of shocking, but understandable given the scale of these scam operators. I didn't have to look too deep to find the first evidence of a huge global scamming effort, and this isn't nothing new really, but the fact that it's been a pervasive problem for the last 5 years in spite of Facebook's reporting tools for users demonstrates its effectiveness at earning money for the scammers, along with Facebook and Instagram. Also, given the oversaturation of these ads in my feed, and likely in the feeds of hundreds of millions of other users, Facebook and Instagram are in no hurry to make sincere efforts at protecting users from the scammers. Instead, they practically encourage scammers to use their platforms as fishing nets for millions of potential victims. So, if you think Facebook and Instagram are free for users, think again. It costs users every time someone gets scammed by shops, who in turn use those ill-gotten gains to pay for the very ads they use to find victims. Facebook wins at the expense of its users. No surprises there. Maybe Facebook doesn't know about these ads, and that's why they have the reporting tools for users. Well, before you start going down that road, let's look at some of the shops that are advertising on Facebook right now. Okay, these are going to whirl by pretty fast because I don't want to take up all day here. I've already got a lot to cover. But you can see some similarities in each of these websites. Now, this is an authentic one. It's Calvin Klein. You can see all the models, their entire faces. You can see the entire product that's being advertised there. And if you go down, you're going to see a common kind of theme throughout all of these clothier websites. They have their stuff laid out in a similar way. And if you go to About, you'll see that the copy is written in a certain way and it has a certain style. But in the authentic ones, it seems like people put more effort into it. It's not just off the shelf. So here's Tommy Hilfiger again. Everyone's going to kind of follow the same lead so that there's a similar customer experience. So the layouts are going to be similar. It's going to be kind of minimalized, but in the authentic ones, you're going to get a lot more detail in things at the bottom. The copyrights are going to are going to have more details. I saw one website that had a copyright with no year date, so it wasn't even really a copyright, and the copyright wasn't attributed to an organization. It was just attributed to the website name, so that's a clue as well. Now the smaller websites, they get their off-the-shelf website stuff that they fill in the blanks for from like GoDaddy or Squarespace. Those off-the-shelf templates are going to look like the leaders, so it's not surprising that you're going to come across smaller shops that look a lot like the bigger ones like Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein. So of course when you look at these scam websites, you're going to see a lot of similarities, but they're kind of are extremes if you look close to what's going on. So let's look at Chicky Dress here, for example, and if we go to their About page, they may have just selected the standard About Us and just put their name in the fill in the blank, even though the capitalization's a little off there, whatever. So let's go to the next one. You can see is the same thing, and of course the next one, it's the same thing, just their name, so on and so forth. So maybe there is this off the shelfness that's going on, but if you're persistent enough, sometimes you can find that scammers are a little bit lazy. So once we get to Galactico, that person came in that day, they copy and pasted from yesterday's scam website, which was this one, and they forgot to take out that name and put in the new scam name. And that's how you end up finding out that these websites are all kind of tied together. But you can tell that just from the websites themselves. You can go through and see just the striking similarity. And odds are if one is exactly like the other and you get scammed by one, you're probably going to get scammed by the other. So if you're a legitimate website and you're using this off-the-shelf template, I would suggest you ditch that right away. And again, scammers are just lazy. They don't care if things are right or not, and you end up with things that look like this. So if you pay real close attention, you'll see the copy is a little bit off. So let's look at one of those scam websites in a little bit more detail. So they have the little header up at the top, and they have the big banner with their feature sale or whatever. But the big tell are the pictures of the models. Their heads are all cut off. Now, if you're going to pay for models, then you're going to have their faces up there, presumably. And if you haven't paid for these pictures and you just copied them off of somewhere, then that's probably not a very good business practice. If you are authorized to sell these products, then you're authorized to use the marketing material usually in your website. Manufacturers will actually provide you with that material. So it's odd that they would cut off their heads. And even in some cases, the material, the product that they were showing you cut off their product, like the top of the hoodie was gone. So that's a big tale too, and you're going to see that on a lot of these websites. Okay, so admittedly it is pretty challenging to look at these and see which one's a scam and isn't a scam. I mean, after all, Facebook is going broke from all the money they're taking from these scammers, advertisers, so they certainly can't afford to pay somebody to look into any of the dozens of websites that are obviously scams. And those are the ones that I just investigated over the course of a few hours one morning. So there are some industries that are pretty scammy when it comes to this type of thing. Clothes are one of them. Electronics are another one. Shoes, I think that kind of counts as clothes, but maybe not. And it just goes on and on and on. There are segments that are targeted for this kind of scamming. And you can find out the analytics from this pretty easy because there are a number of organizations that are dedicated to doing just that, like Scam Advisor. So Scam Advisor is kind of automated in a way. It has these analytics that it goes through and it looks at things and checks them out and gives you statistics on it. So if Scam Advisor and these other websites can do that and kind of weight the authenticity, why can't Facebook and Instagram do a kind of an automated process there? Well, the answer is they can, but they're going to lose a lot of money doing that. So they're not really encouraged to do that until they get sued for hundreds of millions of dollars, like YouTube got sued and had to pay this fine. I don't know what it was exactly off the top of my head, but it was substantial and it hurt them, and it's changed the nature of the way that they do business. And that's probably what's going to have to finally happen to Facebook before it stops being a playground for scammers, and it's just going to drive people away from the platform. I don't know how Facebook can make any money from their advertisers when everyone is scared to buy from them because you don't know if it's a scam or not. So it just hurts Facebook in the long run. It hurts its users. It hurts the whole platform, and it kind of puts social media in an even darker place than it already is. And if Facebook didn't already have a lens on it right now, it's going to have one after this holiday season, because people are going to be taken for a lot. They're going to be really disappointed by how these scammers are allowed to just run free. So before you do click on one of these ads and think about buying something from them, just run it through Scam Advisor or just do a Google search just real quick and see if something doesn't pop up automatically, because the real lazy scammers, that stuff's going to pop up automatically and you're going to see that, oh yeah, this is a scam, don't do it. So I don't know why Facebook can't just do that for us, and that's probably the assumption I was operating under when I clicked on that ad. So until Facebook and Instagram and the other social network platforms that are hosts to a lot of these scam artists take some really robust and sincere measures to handle it, then I just advise people to not patronize any of the advertisers on Facebook. And if you're thinking about advertising on Facebook or Instagram, don't, because you're just swimming with sharks and you're swimming with scam artists and you're just reducing your own credibility. I hope this helps stop this, or at least reduce it and not make victims out of more people. So if you know somebody, share this with them, and maybe it's going to stop this from happening. And that's the best that I can do. And good luck out there. And there's a lot of scams, and they're easy to avoid if you just take the time to be skeptical and say, is this real or not? So again, good luck, and I'll talk to you later.